There we go. All right, we're live, ish. Hopefully everybody can jump over and join here. I have to add, let's go, add kickback in there, and then I've got to and turn this back on and see if this comes back on. I've got to redo to get us up on Substack. Close, create new, and then live video. There we go. Generate stream. Excellent. Copy that and go to here. And oh, it is actually working. Okay. I think so. I think we should be back up on Substack. All right. Thank you, CSL. Yeah, run everybody there. Oh, large echo. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Hey. Hold on. Sound levels. Added. There we go. Mute that. There we go. And I think we have our dear friend joining us right here. Look at that. I see him right now. There we go. So I'll take him out. And there he is. Look at him back in the background there. That's good. So I'll go to here and then just add him in here. And I should be able to hear him at some point. And then we'll be all right. Look at that. There he is. It's a miracle. I can't believe it. It's fantastic, and we're very excited. Can you hear me okay? Can he hear me? Yeah, I hear him. Okay, good. There he is.
There we go. There we go, Hal.
Look at that. All the tech stuff that we have to deal with in the modern age. Here we are, and there you are. And thank you so much for joining me, my friend. Sorry about the kerfuffle.
No, that's quite all right. Absolutely. We're getting there.
It's always something, as they say. So, first of all, welcome. I think right out of the gates, we're going to have to, I feel like, get your immediate take on what, if anything, came from the ridiculous Putin gathering. I know you'll have a take on it, so I'm fascinated to hear if we had the same thing, but I don't want to, tell you what I feel right out of the gate. You know what I mean? I want to hear what you have to say about it right away. So, welcome.
We'll get right into it. I just want to quickly ask you, Hal, where are we streaming on YouTube? I want to share. We have a lot of subscribers that want to
we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Infotainmentwars.com is the easiest thing. Yep.
Let me see. Let me get it so this way people could.
Yeah. Infotainmentwars.com. Yeah. And sorry about the echo, guys. I'll fix that.
Yeah, let's do that quickly.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. And hopefully that's the okay. I don't see an echo in there, but I apologize, guys, if there is one, because I don't see it happening.
I hear an echo.
Oh, it might be a slapback being caused. I will remedy that as we speak. But I see. There it is. Boink. Yep, this is it. Got it. Now we should be all right now, in theory.
I think I got that right here. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I got it. All right, so Hal, my take, first of all, let's start off. For those of you that have been following me, I try to stick to facts and I don't try to give too many opinion, but, so I'll give you what I know and, we'll get into that. So this is another staged event. Everything you've been watching play out in the past 2 weeks was theatrics. Donald Trump is basically needs this for his own purposes, and Vladimir Putin needs it for his own purposes. And the two of them are now combined are doing this. So, because if this was about peace, you would not see rockets flying over Ukraine today. From the second that Vladimir Putin left American soil, rockets have been bombarding. Today, Odessa has been hit very hard. And, this is supposed to be peace talks we're talking about. The other thing that the media doesn't want to talk about, Hal, is that we already know the two stances. Stance number one from Russia is they want the land, not only the land that they've already occupied, but they want to go in and swap and take land that they haven't even occupied. That's a fact. Donald Trump has already to it. He said that's something that he agrees on with Russia.
Right.
Now you take another fact: Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky has come out extensively, has said that's not in our constitution. We're not going to give up land, and the fact that you're even asking us to give you land that's not even occupied, that's completely absurd.
Yeah.
We know the two stances, so it's not like what are they going to negotiate. So when they're sitting there, oh, what are they going to go? So I'll tell you what's going to take place because I was in those rooms. I know what it is, and that is why when Trump found out that Zelensky's not coming alone, but he's coming with a whole entourage of your EU leaders, he right away said, "Wait, take a stop. Let's bring it back. I'm going to meet with Zelensky first one-on-one, and then I'm going to meet with them."
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, Mega, and I was one of the insiders of this whole play. Where there was always supposed, just like that, they have this feeling that there's corruption going on, and this whole Clinton Epstein thing that they're, same thing when it comes to Zelensky and Ukraine. They feel a lot of money was stolen. They feel a lot of money was manipulated. They feel Zelensky is stealing money. This is their interpretation. So it was always one of the things that they wanted to go after him. So what I'm hearing from my sources is this pre-meeting where they're going to have a one-on-one. There's going to be several things that Trump is going to do, and this is his Hail Mary, as I call it. He's going to threaten. He's going to try to bribe him. He's going to try to be president. He's going to do whatever he can to have him cut a deal. And all of those things are really none of them have anything to do for the people of Ukraine, because there's none of, in any of the conversation, negotiations, or Twitter or Truth Socials that Donald Trump posts, does he ever talk about any concessions for Ukraine. Ukraine gets nothing in any of these conversations. They get none of their sovereignty, none of their land. The only thing that he tells them is they stop people dying. That's their concession for Ukraine, to give up land, everything, just to have people stop dying and not to get back their land, their sovereignty, their, what's it called? So the meeting that they're going to have is going to be about not only try to get Zelensky personally somehow by telling him, for instance, one of the things I'm hearing is that they're going to let him know that, because remember, Trump thinks Russia's going to win. And what happens when after a war?
Lame.
What happens? The first thing, the leaders like Zelensky get prosecuted by and they want to kill Zelensky. They've said it. Putin said it. The Russians have said it. They put So basically that's the first thing he's going to promise him, that nobody's going to go after you. Russia's not going to go after you. America's not going to go after you. Nobody's going to investigate any of these things. What's it called? And your inner circle. Second thing is, in Trump's world, it's all negotiations. He is going to be promising him carte blanche when it comes to Hollywood. Come over, do whatever you want, put your production company, you're a talented guy. Look what you did over there in Ukraine. Can you imagine here? Now you can do it in America. Me retire, let them do it, and all you gotta do is accept the deal and get new elections. Get out of this whole thing, because one of the things that people don't realize, that there's no peace not there, because Putin will never sit down with Zelensky at the same table.
Right.
Because that legitimizes Zelensky, and that's the
one he doesn't. Yeah, he says. Yeah, he's mentioned that he thinks he's a made-up president of a fake country. Like that's what makes a lot of this a non-starter. And I completely agree. So please continue, and then I'm certain that I have a bunch of questions, and I know that my chat will as well. And I'm glad we're up and running. And thank you guys. Appreciate your patience this morning. But so we know what he's going to try to deliver to Putin. My question is this whole illusion that he is somehow some sort of deal maker is obviously garbage. He never does this. He's, his idea that he could just walk away is based on real estate deals. And you can't just walk away when you have rape squads having gone into Bucha and 70,000 children that have been abducted. It's not the same thing.
Because nobody mentions the children, Hal. I'm the only one out there. Thank you. Very few. And I appreciate that, because that's another thing. Non-starter. We're talking about over 30,000 kidnapped children that are right now being put together and on Russian websites and being paraded.
Yeah, they're being eBayed, for God's sake. It's fucking gross.
Sick. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, I just I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned it.
Again, you can be a great deal maker if you're doing a VC, venture or a start, venture capital startup, or you're making an app. And that's why I think Elon Musk had this illusion of how the government works and what you could cut and all this kind of stuff, because everything's expendable in business as long as you're turning a profit, right? And it's all about minimum viable product, right? The minimum that you can get, which you could argue is maybe the closest thing to like bipartisan legislature. You have to. It's not about what your pie in the sky is; it's what you can actually accomplish in the short term, right? And the frustration that I have is that the illusion that he's some sort of a deal maker is based on these things where, no, if another Trump building gets built, it's not going to change the fucking world ever. But these are human lives at stake. And the fact that he's talking about, like, I just want to stop the killing, no, he doesn't. He just wants to start the building for
Thank you.
himself.
Thank you. And it's even more sick than that, Hal, because you know what he's negotiating with? You know the negotiations they're going on? Donald Trump is negotiating with Ukrainian land that's not his, with
Yeah.
Ukrainian minerals and oil that's not his, with Ukrainian lives and sovereignty that's not his. This is what he's negotiating, what he went to, what. And that's another thing. When they say Alaska, they went there to negotiate. They didn't go there to negotiate. That was a picture. The negotiations happen behind the scene. The real negotiations are taking place between people like Steve Witkoff, Kirill Dmitriev, and Vladimir Putin. And you know how not only how do I know that because of I was one of those. I used to be the Steve Witkoff because if you remember in his first administration, I was the guy he sent to put pressure on the same President Zelensky. I'm the guy that gave him the first quid pro quo and tried to make him go get dirt on the Bidens. So I know these players extremely well. I've been in those rooms. I know how these conversations go. I know how the wink and the nod and the pressure and when when to put everybody in the room so this way things leak and things get out. And then when there's nobody in the room and they're one-on-ones, and then and that's not even the worst part. It's when Zelensky's going to be leaving the room when he gets approached by one of Trump's cronies and says, "But by the way, this and this and this and this." So I know how this is about to be play out, and and none of it is about to save the lives of the Ukrainian people. None of it is to give back Ukraine sovereignty. Think about the simple fact of the different greetings. I mean, you got Zelensky. The only reason there's even more to do today is because you have all these leaders. Like Trump said, I have all the European leaders coming, so he's making it more of this. But if you take a look at the way he greets Zelensky at the Oval at the White House and the way he just greeted a dictator, a person that is indicted war criminal, somebody that has blood on his hands, that has killed all over the world, and he greeted him with claps, red carpet. He had our soldiers, Hal, our fucking soldiers, kneel down, roll out the red carpet. He took this guy, put him into the beast with him. He drove with him. They had a conversation. He even went to the step of giving him the privilege of having the conference, talking about his spewing his Russian propaganda, and then just basically because what all Trump wanted is, if you remember what Vladimir Putin said, this is what, in his sick, demented, narcissistic mind, what did he get out of it? People say, what did Trump get out of it? He got Vladimir Putin standing on the world stage saying, if Trump was in office, we would have never invaded. This never would have happened. Hey, Hal, I don't hear you. I lost for some reason. Do you hear me? I don't hear you. I don't hear you. No. What said, I'll give the audience a little update of what's going on right now. Zelensky has just showed up. Oh no, that's not Zelensky. The European leaders are coming to the White House one-on-one, one by one right now.
Check 3, check 4.
Oh, there
Hello,
you go.
can you hear
There
me?
you go.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Okay,
I hear
great.
you. Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
sorry
Sorry.
about that. Odd. Anyways, so the the primary thing, and yeah, I've got this, I think, the same view from the AP up of everybody arriving. And to your point about like the show he made for Vladimir Putin, I have said for a long time it is very peculiar to me that every time he shakes hands with Vladimir Putin, he does it palm up. He doesn't do this with anybody else that I've seen. He might do it with Erdogan, but I've just never seen video of it, at the moment, just still photographs. But he does this weird thing where he puts his hand out and then he taps the top of it like a grandmother, and it's got this kind of like dog with his belly up kind of attitude to it. It's very beta, it's very weak, because what you want to do, any business book you'll ever read will tell you jut your hand forward equal to theirs, shake it this directly, and he does this undercupping thing, and it's very specific to Putin, and it almost like is a tell. And then he went beyond that and clapped for the guy walking down the red carpet. It was the most bizarre, like natural reaction from him, right? It
He
was
gave him
like,
a, he gave him a B-52 flyover. He gave a
right. Well, that
flyover.
yeah. I like, and he gave him a ride in the Beast. Like the B-52 flyover, I think sounds like something that Hegseth came up with. Like it was like, we'll show them, we'll do a big power play, be alpha, and we'll fly the big planes over top of him. Like, come on, dude. And then he gives him a ride in the Beast, and I'm like, they better go through that vehicle with like every bug detector and they've got, and everyone that they haven't invented yet, because all he had to do was stick a needle in a piece of fabric and it will transmit everything. Now, again, if that was a real world leader and Trump had any brains, I would be concerned. But what's he going to hear? Just him farting and asking for another Diet Coke? So, like, again, if they bugged the White House, it would be, I pity the Russian on that detail, right? But, right? But so what do you think's going to come out of this meeting? Because when he was going to meet with just Zelensky, it was one thing. And I felt like he felt like he could bully him. And now the rest of the European leaders are like, wait a second. And they seem to have like jumped on being there, distinctly so that they could go, all right, we're going to lock arms with Zelensky on this.
You're going to see a lot of world professional politicians today do a lot of backspinning and running because nothing's
Right,
going to happen. Nothing's going to change. They're going to try to. I'm curious to see. Well, two things might happen. Because Donald Trump, knowing Trump the way it is, one wrong word, one wrong movement, and this thing could go AWOL. And literally, what we saw in the Oval between him and Zelensky could very easily happen between him and all of them. Zelensky, all of them. That's one scenario. Then the other
right,
scenario is that after his meeting with Zelensky, there might not be any press conferences. There might not be any what's it called, because depending on how bad or where it goes, it might be separate, conversations. And
right,
and third of all, which is the most probable outcome if everything goes according to plan, all of their plan. Because remember, they all understand that there's no peace that's going to happen today. There's no the cease. Just think about this:
right,
the most important thing out of this whole deal, if anybody wants to stop any kind of killing, would be the first thing is a ceasefire. That's when you stop the bombardment. But that
right,
that has been taken off the table after Trump's meeting with Putin. Now it's about negotiating a peace deal. And anybody that has any common sense as to it's very difficult to negotiate any kind of deal when people are dying. People are getting covered. If you stop the bombardment, people start taking a deep breath, thinking, okay, this feels okay. We're not having people tend to want to try to figure out how not to get back to the bad that was. But if you're continuing, and what he did today, even worse by literally, attacking, hospitals, and I mean, he's not attacking Putin where he's going attacking military bases. He's attacking, infrastructure. He's attacking.
yeah,
Domestic, houses, hospitals, churches, synagogues, and stuff like that. He's actually attacking people that are running into the. I've reported on my Substack that people are hiding in the metro. He has drones following people running into and attacking them at the entrance of the metro. So it's all a campaign of destruction, man. So that's why when Trump says that it's just people that are soldiers, he's talking about Russian soldiers. He doesn't talk about the Ukrainian people that are dying every single day. How many millions of Ukrainian people have been displaced for their homes, how the
Right.
Ukrainian infrastructure has been destroyed, and how so many millions and tens of millions of lives have been turned upside down. Not in Russia. Russia, they, yeah, their economy might not be great. They might see, something, but when the Ukraine hits Russia, Ukraine, hits their military structures. They hit their oil and gas refineries. They don't hit their, apartment buildings to, kill people. But that's what Donald Trump. I mean, not Donald Trump. That's what Vladimir
Yeah.
Putin. I mean, and
Right.
Donald Trump, listen, he's not far away from it. He doesn't have to use military strikes, but he actually has the military right now in Washington D.C. One of the things, Hal, that I keep sounding the alarm and I keep screaming and yelling and telling everybody is that, you know what, all of this is another part of Project 2025, another part of his election reform, another part of what is being quietly, like even today the media is not reporting about it, but one of the things that Donald Trump is already doing is
Right.
getting rid of, as we're speaking now, he's getting rid of early mail-in voting. Mail-in voting, something that who he discussed this with, Vladimir Putin.
Of course. Yeah.
He spoke about it in Sean Hannity. He didn't hide it. He came out and said, Vladimir Putin said that the only reason I didn't win 2020 was because it was rigged, because Biden and the Democrats had mail-in voting. Nobody has mail-in voting. He told them only you have mail, which is another lie. Everything's a lie. And basically, he told them the way Putin did it. Putin said, "This is why let me tell you why I'm in power 25 years or 30 years that he's been in power is because I don't do this, I don't do that." And that's what Trump is trying to mimic here.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the issues that Trump doesn't understand is that the Russian Constitution is such that they can rotate people in positions, and play with who's president, who's prime minister, and kind of regain control that way. We do not have a system like that. We don't even have a system where a president could be vice president next, so that they could secretly Dick Cheney their way through this. Because you have to be able to be president to be vice president, and if you've already served 2 terms, you cannot. So we already have these rules in place, and they're not going to change for all this, for 2 reasons. One, we're not going to change the Constitution because there are too many Republicans who want to be president and they don't want to wait in line for another 4 years behind Donald Trump. And the other is his cankles, that he is not a healthy old man. He is a decrepit, fading, tapioca brained,
But you gotta be careful
remnant.
here, Hal. You gotta be careful here. This is what I'm going to say to you, and it's very important because you gotta understand. And that's why people talk about Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is a man, but he represents a system. He's just the
Mhm.
face of a system. It's a powerful ideology of people around him that run the KGB, that now is the FSB. If tomorrow Vladimir Putin died, nothing would change. I mean, it could even get worse. Because there's certain
Sure.
ideology that belongs. So it's a same thing that's happening here in the United States. Donald Trump is a man. Yes, he's not planning on, his cankles, his this, his that. It's the group of people that are like the Stephen Millers, the Russell Vaught's. Now they have Susie Wiles part of that team. These are very smart, very devious, and very
Hmm.
scary people that are the ones that are starting to run the ideology of the Federalist Society program of
Sure.
get taking our country back 100 years, never giving up power, because they know if they give up power, the second they give up power, their whole thing falls apart. And that's why they're going to such extremism, because Donald Trump sees the polls. They all understand that if they have a fair and square elections in 2026, it's going to be a massacre, and everything comes to an end. That's why they're all this money through this bill by having, because think about who's running it. You're not having somebody that's being approved by the Senate or Congress. You have Tom Homan, whose loyalty is not to the Constitution, it's not to the people, it's just to Donald Trump, that has the power of the check, the more money than any federal government right now has to be able to do it. And they're doing it right now. They're already normalizing it. Just think about it, 5 6 months ago, an American citizen could get dragged off the street and thrown into some kind of camp, not by ICE federal agents or people. They're going to be, we're going to have concentration like camps, like
Right.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
You
No,
would have never,
I
you would have
know.
said, Lev, you're crazy. You would have never said. Same thing with the troops right now. We just, now we have troops not only in LA, which we were going crazy about, but now we have troops in
In
Washington
DC.
D.C. and they're not
And they will have
leaving any, and
guns.
they're not leaving anywhere. And
Right.
now he's going to the next step, is because he's going now into Chicago, New York, all of these states where primarily, blue states, left leaning, democratic, to
Sure.
try
To
to, because
start.
it's all about controlling the power. It's all about rigging 2026. It's all about normalizing military in the streets of America, where people get, oh, it's no big deal. They've been here. Because if, when 2026 comes and these elections comes, and he feels at any moment that he's about to lose, my biggest fear is that's when they implement the martial law. That's when they implement and put it in to stop it. And because they'll say we have an invasion coming from the Latinos,
Right.
Khomeini bullshit story he's going to come up with right then, to give him, just like he did here, just like he said, crime's lower than it's ever been, and what, but he's decided to, he give it, same thing here. And this is what we need to keep our eye on the ball, because with all of this craziness going on, nothing's going to change today between these meetings between Zelensky. But the other thing we're not talking about,
Right.
Hal, is that
Epstein files.
to be testifying. He subpoenaed Bill Barr. I'm curious. Nobody's talking about it. I'm trying to find out. He's supposed to be testifying in front of Congress. But here's another twist to it. Who's running that sham of a Congress hearing? It's James Comer. James Comer is never going to have anybody up there to be able to get Trump or any dirt on him. He's doing it because, as I reported on my Substack, that they are in cahoots. He's framing the narrative. He's not going out and subpoenaing Alex Acosta, the one that really knows the information, or Donald Trump, but he's
Right.
subpoenaing Bill Barr. He's subpoenaing, and Bill Barr, let me go a further step. Bill Barr, I know very well. Bill Barr is the guy that I was part of the BLT team with Rudy Giuliani and Victoria Tunsing that put Bill Barr in office for one simple fact: to stop the Mueller report. And he did that.
Well,
And then all of a sudden, and go ahead. I'm sorry, Hal. I got so
no,
much.
no, no. I know. Yeah, I totally get it, and I think you're right about certainly about the Putin situation in terms of their system will continue on, and he's sort of the figurehead of it. The difference with Trump is that there is a cult of personality that is not completely throughout MAGA, but it is a statistically significant number of them, 8 to 12%, whatever, of that 33% of diehards. If it ain't Trump, it ain't happening. They're back to thinking the deep state runs everything. They're thinking that the Illuminati is in charge and whatever. And they are the ones right now who are clamoring for the Epstein files. They're the ones who are freaking out that he's been co-opted. They're the ones online saying that he is the deep state now, that Bongholio and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are all bought into this thing or protecting pedophiles. And there's enough of those people because he used them to get elected. He marshaled these people to get elected. There's enough of those people that if they check out, the Republican Party is done, and they're going to do everything they can. I think that's what this control part, the redistricting is about. I think that's what the cops in the cities is about. Is because on the one hand, I think they can manufacture seats to protect themselves in 2026, but the problem is they're going to dissipate a lot of their hard red districts by doing this at the same time, so it will blow up in their face. And the other part is I think honestly Trump still believes that there was a bunch of like illegals from asylums throwing masses of ballots in, and he's started to believe his
He
own
doesn't
bullshit.
believe it.
Right, but
He
I
doesn't
mean,
believe. He knows it's supposed.
right. But he thinks that's going to scare off maybe he thinks the Democrats, rigged some of it, or at least he's started to want to believe that, or he wants his own voters to show up and vote and think it's not rigged because they've got a chance. And if they think it's rigged, if they think it's still the same system we had before, even though he got elected last time, they're still not going to buy into it. And if they're mad at him over Epstein and they don't trust the voting machines, that's 6%, let's say, of his voting block gone. And that's enough to hand the Democrats 25 seats in the House and maybe
Well, that
five or six in the
well
Senate over
that's
time.
Well, I mean, hell, that's what I'm saying to you. I mean, we're on the same page. That he
Yeah.
knows that. I mean, everything you just said is factually and is
Hmm.
that if we have a fair and square elections come this midterms, I mean, they're going to get massacred. I don't think, not only in the House, I think they could take over the Senate. That's how bad Donald Trump, not only because of his big, ugly bill where he's destroying, not only because of this tariffs, not only because he has ICE picking up, which is inflecting his own base, his own people, that, you hear stories every day. Oh, the guy that owns Trump Burgers all of a sudden getting deported, the guy that ran Latinos for Trump all of a sudden getting deported. I mean, his own base, his own people, you have every single day. And this Epstein thing is the icing on the cake. I've said it all
Yeah.
along. This is his kryptonite.
Yep.
And it's already broken. See, a lot of people think, oh, it's already broken. You already have social media. You already people drawing lines. You already people like Laura Loomer, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, others that have gotten, Charlie Kirk there, Candace Owens. You have all these people that I know very, very well that have already drawn the line. There's no going back over this Epstein
Hmm.
file because you're never going to see. Trump is never going to give you the real Epstein files. You're never going
No.
to see the true story. So because of that, you're always not going to. This is going to be just like the JFK assassination. Just like Trump promised you we're going to get that. Till this day, again, we don't have concrete. We have, again, a lot of, it could be there. Was he a Russian? Was he there? Who was it there? Was it Oswald by himself? Again, we don't, same thing here. This is going to be a conspiracy that's going to go on 100 years from now and all of this because Trump is doing it. There, you listen. Fact, they're scrubbing his name. They actually have videos of
Yeah.
people, going out there practicing of how to get anywhere Trump's name is with the Epstein together. You have Trump's personal attorney, Todd Blanche, that used to be on my defense team, somebody I know very well, that now is the second command, going there, cutting a deal with Maxwell. That the next day she's transferred over to a cushy prison. And the crazy part is, you hear every day that this is what pisses me off, Hal. You hear
Yeah.
media pundits out there, all of them saying, "Oh, how did she get there? Who authorized this? What? Are you kidding?" This is
Right.
what I'm saying to you. What we have with going with Donald Trump, and this is important, folks. We are human beings. We still have common sense, and we're still. If right now, as we're talking, before we got in here, I came outside and it was sunny. It was beautiful. And while I'm sitting here talking, I hear thunder outside. I hear lightning. I hear, it's like rain coming down, but I don't see it. And then
Hmm.
afterwards, I come outside, and it's so it's common sense. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to actually stand there, watch the raindrops come down. But, and that's why even in a court of law, there's something called circumstantial evidence. Not
Yeah.
always do you have that smoking gun of that video or the guy saying, I did it, but if there's no other way. So, God, I want to see that video of. I don't want to see some perverted video of Donald Trump with some 13-year-old. God forbid. I don't want to see that. I don't
Right.
care if Donald Trump, if she was 13, 16, 17, 18, or the fact who Donald Trump is, we know. He's already somebody that's has a court adjudicated him and made. He's a convicted felon 34 times in the New York federal case. I mean, these are facts. He's not going away from it. These are facts that
Right.
he talks around himself, his own voice on Howard Stern through the years, talking about his own daughter Ivanka, talking about how he walks into these pageants and looks at these as he can, how he could
Right,
grab
right,
a
right,
woman
right,
by her
right,
private
right,
parts
right, right,
because
right, right,
who he
right,
is.
right, right,
I mean,
right, 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 right,
oh,
right, right,
I'm sorry.
right, 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 right,
Right.
right, right, right,
Here,
right,
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 right, right,
right,
right.
right, 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 right,
Eh,
right, 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 right.